In the not-so-distant future, Earth had become a cosmic joke, and humanity was the punchline. Aliens, with their high-tech gadgets and overly ambitious colonization plans, had turned our planet into a bizarre amusement park. The skies were filled with hovering ships shaped like jelly beans, and the streets were patrolled by tall, slimy beings with too many eyes and not enough sense of humor. Amid this chaos, Jack Carter, self-proclaimed rebel leader and full-time disaster magnate, was in the midst of a catastrophic mission. It all started with a simple plan: disable an alien surveillance drone and steal its tech to boost the Resistance's fighting capabilities. Easy enough, right? Wrong. Jack crouched behind a bush that smelled faintly of burnt rubber and disappointment. His heart raced as he peeked out at the drone, a metallic orb that floated lazily above a cluster of alien guards, its sensor beams sweeping the area. "Okay, Jack," he muttered to himself, just like the old days in high school. "You can do this." He pulled out a makeshift EMP device, crafted from a toaster and some spare wires scavenged from an old car. Who knew breakfast could save the world, he thought, chuckling nervously. With a deep breath, he activated the device. The toaster whirred ominously, sending a jolt of energy toward the drone. For a brief moment, everything went perfectly. The drone sputtered and shuddered, its lights flickering like a disco ball gone haywire. "Ha! Take that, you overgrown ping-pong ball!" Jack shouted triumphantly. But his victory was short-lived. Just as he prepared to make his grand exit, he felt a familiar sensation, a twinge in his stomach that signaled impending disaster. In his excitement, he had failed to notice the mud slick beneath his feet. One second he was standing tall, the next he was airborne, arms flailing, before he landed face first into the muck. The noise drew the attention of the aliens, who turned their many eyes toward him, mouths agape in shock. "Jack! Get up!" shouted Maya, his sharp-witted second-in-command, who was hiding behind a nearby rock. She had her own issues to deal with, like the alien blaster that was currently aimed in her direction. But instead of fleeing, the aliens were captivated by Jack's muddy plight. They mistook his flailing for some form of earthling performance art. Suddenly, a crowd began to gather, cheering and chanting in their bizarre language. "Earthling mascot! Earthling mascot!" they yelled, clapping their slimy appendages together in excitement. Realizing he was now the main attraction at an impromptu alien festival, Jack tried to wriggle free, but the aliens were having none of it. They scooped him up, hoisting him onto their shoulders and parading him around like a trophy. "Well, this is awkward," Jack thought, struggling to maintain a shred of dignity while coated in goo. Maya, desperately trying to hold back laughter, shouted, "This is not how we plan to win the war, Jack." As the aliens carried him through the makeshift camp, Jack could only roll his eyes at the absurdity of it all. Here he was, the supposed leader of the resistance, being celebrated for, what? Falling into a mud pit? Just then, an alien approached him with a glittery crown made of strange, writhing worms and placed it on his head. Great, Jack thought. Now I'm a king of the mud. The aliens cheered louder, mistaking his groans for enthusiastic approval. If only his mother could see him now. Back at their hideout, Maya was frantically trying to locate Jack. She had no time to waste. The aliens were preparing to obliterate Earth, and she was left to find their missing leader, who was probably off becoming the alien overlord's favorite pet. She kicked a rock in frustration and muttered, "You can't make this stuff up." As the parade continued, Jack finally caught a break. An alien named Gloop, who had developed a strange fascination with Jack's antics, decided to set him down, much to the disappointment of the crowd. "Earthling, why are you dirty?" Glup asked, his many eyes blinking in confusion. It's a Earth thing? Jack replied, trying to sound convincing. A ritual for future kings. You wouldn't understand. Glup tilted his head, clearly intrigued. Then you must teach us this dirt dance. Oh boy, Jack sighed. I think I've just become the ambassador of mud. As the aliens began to imitate his every move, Jack seized the opportunity. Amidst the chaos, he spotted Maya sneaking toward the alien command center. She'd cracked the code to their communication system and was ready to intercept vital information about their plans. Jack grinned. Maybe this mess wasn't a total loss after all. Hey, Glup. Want to learn how to dance like a true Earthling? He shouted, attempting to distract the aliens while Maya made her move. The alien crowd erupted in excitement, mimicking his awkward dance steps. Meanwhile, Maya slipped into the command center, her heart pounding. She was determined to find out what the aliens were planning. She located a terminal and began tapping away, accessing classified files. Within moments, her face drained of color. No, they're planning to annihilate us entirely. They want to turn Earth into their playground and eliminate all of humanity. She cursed under her breath, knowing they had little time to act. Back outside, Jack was still busting out ridiculous dance moves, feeling oddly empowered despite the ludicrousness of the situation. But as he glanced at the alien guards who had been so amused moments ago, he realized they were now turning their attention to Maya's location. Oh, Jack muttered. We've got company. With a swift kick, he launched himself from the improvised stage and dashed toward the command center, doing his best to avoid being caught in the crossfire of dancing aliens. Maya. We need to get out of here. As they reunited, Maya quickly briefed him. They're planning to use a weapon, something that can wipe out humanity in one fell swoop. We have to find their core technology and destroy it. Jack nodded, adrenaline pumping. Then let's rally the troops. Time to turn this mud mess into a plan. Gathering their ragtag group of misfits, a former baker who now fashioned explosive pastries and a conspiracy theorist who insisted that the aliens were merely after Earth's pizza, the duo laid out their strategy. The plan was equal parts absurd and clever, a true testament to the chaos they had lived through. Here's the deal, Jack announced, leaning on the table that had seen better days. We're going to infiltrate the alien base, grab their tech, and blow it up before they turn Earth into a cosmic resort. Maya raised an eyebrow. And how do you propose we do that? With your amazing dance moves? Actually, I was thinking we could go with something a little less ridiculous, he replied, a twinkle of mischief in his eye. With a mix of humor and determination, the group set out for the alien stronghold. Little did they know that their greatest battle was about to unfold in the most unexpected way. With their plan laid out, Jack and the motley crew prepared to embark on what was likely the most ridiculous mission in the history of human resistance. The group gathered around the hastily drawn map of the alien stronghold, a patchwork of old pizza boxes and crumpled alien schematics that Maya had pilfered during her hacking spree. All right, Jack said, standing at the front. We're going to infiltrate the base, locate their core technology, and blow it to smithereens. Remember, we're going to need stealth, cunning, and, if all else fails, a good dose of improvised chaos. The former baker, a burly man named Tony, grinned as he adjusted his oversized goggles. I've got just the thing. My specialty is explosive pastries. Imagine a croissant that can take out a guard or two. Why did I ask? Jack muttered under his breath, suppressing a laugh. He looked around at his crew, a collection of oddballs and dreamers. It was a ragtag band, to say the least, but they had heart. Let's get moving before the aliens decide to redecorate with our remains. As they approached the alien base, a towering structure pulsating with alien lights and bizarre noises, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were in over their heads. But then again, when had they ever done anything normal? With Maya at his side, they snuck into the shadows, the others trailing behind. They moved silently, or as silently as a group that included a conspiracy theorist named Rick, who kept muttering about the truth being out there. The closer they got to the core technology room, the more tension crackled in the air. Every corner they turned revealed more bizarre alien artifacts, each more confusing than the last. One particularly odd object resembled a giant rubber duck, floating serenely in a glass case. Jack couldn't help but wonder if that was the aliens' idea of a trophy. "Stay focused, team," Maya whispered, her eyes darting as they approached a heavily guarded door. "That's it. The core technology room is right behind there." Jack took a deep breath, adrenaline coursing through him. "Tony, you're up. Show us what those pastries can do." With a gleam in his eye, Tony produced a few oddly shaped pastries from his backpack, each wrapped in what looked like tinfoil. He approached the guards, who were chatting in a language that sounded like a mix of croaks and honks. "Hey there, alien buddies," he called out, brandishing a pastry. "Want to try the latest Earth delicacy? Guaranteed to blow your mind." The guards turned, momentarily confused, and Jack seized the moment. "Now," he shouted, and the team sprang into action. As Tony hurled the pastries, they exploded on impact, creating a cloud of smoke and confusion. Jack rushed in, Maya right behind him. "Move, move, move!" Jack shouted, adrenaline pushing him forward. They slipped through the now chaotic scene, the guards scrambling to regain their composure as alien pastries detonated around them. "I think we just invented a new form of warfare," Maya yelled, grinning. Inside the core technology room, the sight was both astounding and bewildering. The centerpiece was a massive karaoke machine, bedecked with glowing lights and adorned with strange, animated holograms of past alien pop stars. Jack blinked in disbelief. "This is their ultimate weapon?" Maya quickly scanned the room, her fingers flying over the console. "It's not just a karaoke machine, it's a frequency generator that can destabilize all communications on Earth. They can use it to spread chaos among us." "Perfect," Jack said, glancing at the machine. "How do we blow it up?" "Leave that to me," Maya replied confidently, already tapping into the system. "I'll set it to overload. We'll give the aliens a real show." As she worked, Jack kept an eye on the door, anxious for the inevitable alien reinforcements. "We need to hurry," he said. "Those guards won't be distracted for long." Maya nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Almost there. Just a few more seconds." Suddenly, the door burst open, and a group of aliens rushed in, eyes wide with alarm. "Earthlings," one of them screeched, pointing a spindly finger at Jack. "You will not escape." Without thinking, Jack grabbed a nearby microphone and stepped up to the karaoke machine. "You want to hear a real Earth classic?" he shouted, winking at Maya. "How about a little Don't Stop Believin'?" The aliens froze, unsure of what to do. It was the perfect distraction. Jack began to sing, his voice cracking in all the wrong places. The aliens exchanged confused glances, clearly bewildered by this unexpected performance. Maya took advantage of their distraction and hit the final command on the console. The machine lit up, and the alien guards began to sway in time with Jack's off-key rendition. "Now, that's what I call a karaoke party," he hollered, launching into a wild dance. Just then, the machine began to rumble ominously. "What's happening?" Maya shouted. "I think it's working," Jack exclaimed, still singing. The holograms flickered and began to project a beam of light that engulfed the aliens, causing them to stop in their tracks. The room filled with noise, alien holographic dancers mimicking Jack's movements, creating chaos all around. As the vibrations intensified, the aliens started to panic, their dance routines descending into wild flailing. Jack was both horrified and delighted at the sight of the overlords, typically so serious, now trapped in a dance-off they hadn't signed up for. "Let's get out of here," he yelled over the noise. Maya grabbed Jack's arm. "This way," she shouted, pulling him toward the exit as the machine began to spark. They dashed past the disoriented guards, slipping into the hallways just as the karaoke machine exploded, sending a shockwave through the building. They raced down the corridors, the sound of explosions and chaotic alien screeches echoing behind them. Jack glanced back and saw a plume of glittery smoke rising, the remnants of the karaoke machine filling the air. "I think we might have created a new dance craze." "Focus, Jack," Maya urged, urgency in her voice. They burst through a set of doors and found themselves in a massive hangar filled with alien ships. "We need a way out." "Those ships look like they could use a test drive," Jack said, eyeing a sleek vessel that resembled a giant bird. He sprinted toward it, and Maya followed. Inside the ship, he fumbled with the controls, a barrage of alien buttons and levers staring him down. "How do you even fly one of these things?" he muttered, panic rising. Maya slid into the seat next to him. "Just hit the big red button." "It's always the big red button." With a gulp, Jack slammed his hand down on the button. The ship roared to life, and alarms blared all around them. "I think that's a good sign," he shouted as they shot out of the hangar, narrowly avoiding an incoming alien craft. "Just keep flying straight," Maya called out, her voice barely audible over the cacophony. "We need to get far away before they send out reinforcements." Jack piloted the ship through the skies, the landscape of Earth sprawling below them, a patchwork of greens and browns. As they soared higher, the explosions from the base faded into the distance, replaced by the thrill of their escape. "Do you think we did it?" Maya asked, a mixture of disbelief and excitement in her eyes. "We'll find out soon enough," Jack replied, glancing back at the alien base. "But I'd say we made one heck of a statement." As they flew, the weight of what they had accomplished began to sink in. They had disrupted the aliens' plans and sent a message loud and clear: humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. Suddenly, an alert flashed on the control panel. "Uh-oh," Jack said. "We've got company." He squinted at the view screen, seeing several alien ships in hot pursuit. "Can't they take a hint?" Maya's fingers danced over the console. "I can try to shake them off." "Hold on." The ship lurched as Maya yanked on the controls, sending them into a dizzying dive. Jack clutched the edges of his seat, bracing himself. This is one way to make a great getaway. The alien ships followed suit, their blasters lighting up the sky as they fired at the escaping vessel. "We need a distraction," Jack shouted, and Maya's eyes lit up with an idea. "Time for some improvisation," she declared, reaching for a panel of buttons. "Let's give them a show." With a flourish, she activated the ship's emergency lights and sound system. Suddenly, the ship erupted in flashing colors and blaring music, reminiscent of an Earth rave. The alien pursuers were caught off guard, their ships hesitating in confusion. "Now's our chance," Jack yelled, taking advantage of their distraction. He yanked the controls hard to the left, sending their ship into a tight turn that took them off the direct path of their pursuers. "Keep the music going," Jack shouted as they barreled through the clouds, zigzagging through the sky. The alien ships struggled to follow, their pilots bewildered by the sudden sonic spectacle. As Jack piloted the ship toward the alien overlord's invitation, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was a setup. "You think they're trying to trap us?" he asked Maya, glancing at her with a mix of concern and curiosity. "Honestly?" "Maybe," she replied, her fingers deftly working the console as she monitored their trajectory. "But we can't ignore the chance to gather intel. If they really want a cultural exchange, we could learn a lot about their technology and tactics." Jack nodded, though unease gnawed at him. "Just remember, if it feels too good to be true, it probably is." Maya grinned, her eyes glinting with excitement. "Welcome to the Resistance, Jack. We live for the absurd." The alien ship, their new rendezvous point, loomed ahead, a sleek structure that shimmered with otherworldly colors. As they approached, the doors slid open, revealing a docking bay filled with strange, floating orbs and sleek alien vehicles. Jack couldn't help but marvel at the spectacle. "Here goes nothing," he muttered, guiding their ship inside. As they landed, the engines hummed to a stop, and a moment of silence fell over them. "Ready for this?" Maya took a deep breath. "Let's show them what Earthlings are made of." They stepped out of the ship, immediately greeted by a throng of curious aliens. The creatures, with their multitude of eyes and vibrant colors, chattered excitedly amongst themselves, pointing at Jack and Maya. "Is this what they call a welcoming committee?" Jack whispered, his heart racing. "More like an alien fan club," Maya replied with a smirk. "I guess we really made an impression back at the base." An alien representative, distinguished by a dazzling array of ornaments hanging from its many tentacles, approached them. "Welcome, Earthlings," it announced in a voice that sounded both melodic and slightly screechy. "We are thrilled to have you join our cosmic cultural exchange. I am Zarkon, your liaison." "Great to meet you, Zarkon," Jack said, forcing a smile. "So, what exactly does this exchange entail?" Zarkon's eyes gleamed. "We wish to learn about your customs, art, and food." It waved a tentacle dramatically. "Our chefs are eager to experience your pizza." Maya stifled a laugh, nudging Jack. "Looks like we found our first lesson plan." "Right," Jack replied, trying to sound enthusiastic. "Pizza it is. I hope you like toppings." Zarkon's eyes widened in excitement. "We have observed your Earth culinary practices through your broadcasts. The concept of cheese intrigues us greatly." "Cheese is a cornerstone of many great cuisines," Jack explained, warming up to the idea. "It's all about balance, cheese, sauce, toppings. You can customize it however you like." "Fascinating. Please, come with me." Zarkon gestured grandly, leading them deeper into the ship. As they walked, Jack and Maya exchanged incredulous glances. The interior was a bizarre fusion of organic shapes and shimmering technology, with walls that pulsed like living creatures. Everywhere they looked, alien art adorned the walls, abstract sculptures that twisted and turned, seemingly alive. "Are they really going to let us teach them how to make pizza?" Jack asked, half amused and half apprehensive. Maya shrugged. "Why not? This might be our chance to understand how they operate." Finally, they arrived at a vast kitchen area that smelled oddly sweet. A team of aliens stood at workstations, wearing oversized aprons that seemed to glow. Jack's stomach growled at the sight of colorful ingredients laid out across a long counter. "Welcome to the culinary chamber," Zarkon announced, pride swelling in its voice. "Prepare for your first lesson." "Okay, team," Jack said, stepping forward with renewed confidence. "Let's show them how it's done. First, we need dough." Zarkon waved a tentacle, and a group of aliens produced a large bowl filled with a sparkling substance that shimmered in a variety of colors. "This is our Ziplon flour. It has unique properties. It can rise up to 3 times its size." Maya raised an eyebrow. "This could be interesting." Jack took a handful, kneading it in his hands. "Let's start with the basics. We mix flour, water, and some yeast, and then we let it rise." Maya chimed in, demonstrating with exaggerated enthusiasm. The aliens watched intently, eyes wide, taking notes with their tentacles. As they progressed through the steps of pizza making, the atmosphere in the kitchen transformed from skepticism to excitement. The aliens were surprisingly quick learners, though their attempts at tossing the dough resulted in a few errant splats against the walls. Jack and Maya couldn't help but laugh, the sound ringing out in the chamber. "Remember, it's all in the wrist," Jack said, demonstrating the motion again. "Like this." "Earthlings are so entertaining," one alien exclaimed, its eyes swiveling in delight. Hours passed as they shared stories and laughter, the culinary chamber filled with the sense of cooking dough and bubbling sauce. They talked about Earth, their lives, and the bizarre encounters that led them to this very moment. Jack found himself genuinely enjoying the aliens' company, their earnestness and willingness to learn infectious. Finally, it was time for the grand reveal. The pizzas, some brilliantly topped with what looked like alien vegetables and others adorned with more traditional Earth ingredients, were ready to be cooked. Jack wiped his brow, taking a step back to survey their creations. "All right, everyone. Prepare for the best pizza experience of your lives." Zarkon clapped its tentacles together in anticipation. "We cannot wait." As they slid the pizzas into a large alien oven that resembled a glowing orb, Jack felt a strange thrill. This was more than just a culinary lesson, it was a bridge between two worlds. They were showing the aliens the joys of Earth. One cheesy slice at a time, the pizzas emerged, perfectly golden and bubbling. The aroma wafted through the air, drawing everyone's attention. "Time to taste," Jack announced, slicing the first pie with a flourish. When the first alien took a bite, its eyes widened, and it emitted a sound that resembled a mix between a purr and a screech. "Incredible. This flavor. It is unlike anything we have ever experienced." More aliens eagerly lined up for a taste, each reacting with delight as they savored the concoctions. Laughter and cheers filled the chamber, and for a brief moment, the differences between them seemed to fade away. "This is working," Maya whispered, her eyes sparkling. "We're really doing it." But as they celebrated, an alarm blared throughout the ship, cutting through the revelry like a knife. The aliens froze, confusion spreading across their faces. "What's happening?" Jack shouted, panic rising in his throat. Zarkon rushed to a control panel, its tentacles flying over the buttons. "Intruders. Our defense systems are being compromised." "Great," Jack muttered, glancing at Maya. "So much for a peaceful exchange. Let's regroup," Maya yelled, rallying their new friends. "We need to protect this ship." They hurried toward the control center, where a scene of chaos unfolded. Alien soldiers rushed around, their weapons drawn, as they scrambled to fend off an unseen threat. Jack felt a surge of urgency. What do we need to do? Zarkon pointed at a screen showing an incoming wave of enemy ships. We must activate the defenses. Help us. Jack and Maya exchanged determined glances. Let's show them how Earthlings fight. Jack shouted, adrenaline fueling his resolve. They dove into the fray, Maya commandeering one of the control panels while Jack stood by her side, ready to react. The alien defense systems came to life, a series of lasers and shields activating around the ship. Can you track where the attack is coming from? Maya asked, her fingers flying across the controls, working on it. Zarkon replied, its eyes flickering in concentration. We need to hold them off until we can launch our counterattack. Just then, a warning signal blared. They're boarding, an alien shouted, panic in its voice. Jack, we've got to cover the entrance. Maya called out. Grab whatever you can. Jack rushed to find makeshift weapons, snatching up a pair of alien blasters. He handed one to Maya, and they positioned themselves at the main entrance, bracing for the inevitable clash. The door blasted open, and a group of armored aliens surged in, snarling and shouting. Earthlings! You will pay for your insolence. Let's dance. Jack shouted, firing the blaster and hitting the lead invader square in the chest. It stumbled back, and Maya followed suit, her aim surprisingly accurate. The room erupted into chaos as the two groups clashed, lasers flashing and echoes of alien battle cries filling the air. Jack fought with every ounce of determination, dodging incoming blasts and returning fire. Stay focused. We've got to hold them off until reinforcements arrive. Maya shouted, her voice steady amidst the chaos. They held their ground, the aliens' attempts to breach the control room thwarted at every turn. Jack couldn't believe how well they were working together. This is it, he yelled, a surge of adrenaline pushing him forward. We can't let them take this ship. As the fight raged on, the tide began to shift. The alien soldiers, once confident, began to falter under the combined efforts of Jack, Maya, and their new allies. Zarkon's forces joined the fray, their unique fighting styles surprising the invaders. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the last of the enemy soldiers retreated, their escape marked by shouts of disbelief. Jack and Maya exchanged exhausted yet triumphant glances. Did we just win? Jack panted, leaning against the console. Looks like it, Maya said, breathing heavily but grinning. I can't believe we actually fought off an invasion. Zarkon approached them, its eyes gleaming with admiration. You Earthlings are formidable warriors. This will be spoken of in the annals of our history. Jack chuckled, still catching his breath. Just a typical Tuesday for us. But as they celebrated, Jack's thoughts turned to the larger implications of what they had just experienced. We can't let our guard down, he said, suddenly serious. They'll be back. Then we'll be ready, Maya replied, her eyes sparkling with determination. We can't stop now. We need to rally our forces, share what we've learned, and prepare for whatever comes next. With a sense of purpose swelling within him, Jack nodded. Let's do this. For Earth. And for our new friends. As they began to strategize their next steps, a wave of hope washed over Jack. They had faced absurdity and danger, but they had also forged connections that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. Together, they would prepare for whatever lay ahead, united in their fight against the alien threat. And in that moment, Jack felt a certainty that they would not only survive, they would thrive, turning their experiences into a catalyst for change, a bridge between two worlds. Onward, he shouted, his voice ringing out with newfound strength. "Let's make history." And with that rallying cry, they set their course toward an uncertain but thrilling future, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them.